Now let's see what happens physically. As I told about the cancer on the left hand side that we do, physically what happens to people who are futurist? We have a center especially for futuristic behavior called as Swadhisthana Chakra, which is in the gross manifesting the plexus called the aortic plexus within us. Now this Swadhisthana Chakra is very important for human beings, especially for people who are developed. With this chakra, actually, we convert the fat of the stomach for the use of the brain. Now, this is the center of the Surya, of the sun. Now, when we start thinking, these cells are converted in such a way that they become useful to the brain. Now, if you are thinking all the time you are thinking, then what will happen? I mean, the horns are not going to grow out of that. You are consuming all that, and when you are consuming all those cells, you have to have replacement, and for that replacement, this Swadhisthana Chakra has to work very hard to convert the cells for the use of your brain. Now, when it is doing that, there are other things which this Swadhisthana Chakra has to look after. For example, your liver, your pancreas, your spleen, your kidneys, all are to be looked after by this center, and also uterus for the ladies. Now, when there's only one work is given to this Swadhisthana Chakra, and it cannot do any other work, then other things are neglected, so you develop a terrible disease called liver trouble. Now, liver trouble is another thing that you do not feel yourself. Others know that you are liverish, the way you are hot-tempered, the way you are fussy, the way you always snarl at people, and the way you are never satisfied with anything, the way you criticize others. All this is liverish, and such liverish people are never happy with themselves, because liver looks after their attention. And those who have liver problems, their attention is horrid. That goes like this. See, you cannot keep your attention straight. On the street, you will walk straight into a car because you are looking at something which you are not supposed to look. But all the time you are looking at like this. You cannot walk. I mean, you won't find any animal like that who walks like this. But only human beings do it. If you see them on the street, you'll be amazed. Where are they walking? They don't walk straight. They don't walk straight. But their eyes are going this way, that way, because the attention is wobbly. The attention is wobbly because of a bad liver. So this liver is a very, very important thing. Now this liver has a special capacity to extract all the poisons from the body as heat. And the heat in the body is to be transformed or should be conveyed to the blood or the water in the blood. And that has to be taken out of your body, maybe as perspiration or in another forms. But what happens? That when this liver is out of gear, it cannot do it. It cannot pass this heat into the bloodstream, and the heat remains in the body, and you really become heated. And that heat makes all these problems for you. So, in Sahaja Yoga, what happens that when Kundalini rises, she changes the form of the blood. The hydrogen and oxygen which are placed because of this heat and all that, in a very funny way, like this, like that, and they start receiving this heat within them. That's why those people who have bad livers feel little heat when the Kundalini rises. But one can cure it by giving it that peace and comfort to that liver organ, and you can definitely cure your liver, no doubt about it. Then the second thing that happens to you is the pancreas, which gives you diabetes. Only a person who thinks too much gets diabetes. For example, an Indian farmer doesn't know what diabetes is, but then you stop your sugar. But that's not the way to stop your diabetes. Diabetes comes to you because you think too much. The doctors won't understand this. That's why they say it is incurable. But because they cannot connect thinking with the disease. And this is what happens when you are all the time thinking like mad, then diabetes takes place. And this diabetes is also curable if you get your enlightenment. You can cure also the diabetes of other people, but because this vital power, which is integrated of all these three powers, flows through you, and you can replenish, you can give more to other people who are exhausted of it, and sort of you can fill them up with this power and you can kill. The third one is the worst of all that happens to people is blood cancer because of spleen. Spleen is one thing very important, that it is the center of peace within us. The one who doesn't have a proper spleen cannot be a peaceful person. Now, it's a very simple thing, but doctors cannot connect it, nor all science-oriented people can connect it to something very, very simple. And the simple thing is that when we eat our food, if we are frantic, we are out to get trouble with the spleen, and we can get blood cancer. Now, if the mother is of that temperament or a father is of that temperament, the children might be born with blood cancer. Now, we will be happy to tell you that in New York, we had a case of blood cancer. And when I was in India, in a village, somebody came and told me that such and such boy is sick. He's only 16 years with blood cancer, and doctors have declared that he's going to die within 2 weeks' time. They always declare, they are good at declaration only. And when this case came to me, I told them that I cannot do anything, I'm in a village, but you can telephone to one of the Sir Yoginis. She was in England, now she's in New York, and she will look after this case. You'll be amazed that the boy was cured completely. He came out of the hospital, he came to see me, and now he's gone back to his studies. I mean, like this we have cured many cases of blood cancer. But here we are not to cure people by any or healing anyone. That's not our job. It happens spontaneously as a byproduct of the Kundalini awakening. Main thing is we have to make you doctors. We have to make you knowledgeable people. We have to make you collectively conscious human beings who have to enter into the kingdom of God to reside there in His peace, bliss and joy. Now this trouble of also of kidney, of high blood pressure, all that is due to this. People worry, they are frantic, you see, and this franticness comes to us just as a matter of habit. I have known people, as soon as you say, oh, you have to go by aeroplane or somewhere, suddenly the aeroplane word triggers that frantic, oh, they get mad. They don't know what they are up to. They will forget their passport, they will forget their luggage, they forget this, they're frantic. At the airport if you go, you'll find this left navi, as we call it, the center is, the spleen was frantic. Now, when you eat your food or do any such work, there is an emergency created and more blood is needed to digest that. So this spleen, poor thing, works very hard to create that extra amount of blood cells. But at the time you are eating, you are also reading a newspaper. That's the worst thing one should do in the morning. Horrible. You read the newspaper, you are eating the food, the spleen goes off because another emergency comes up. Then you get onto your bicycle with a sandwich in the hand, is even worse than that. And you are rushing to your work, suddenly you find a big jam on the way, then you are even very badly placed with the situation and you get so frantic and you don't understand, and the person who is in front of you goes saying, oh, what's wrong with this fellow, why can't he drive fast? And the same fellow is saying something exactly the same to the another fellow who is going ahead. So this mad race is on, this rat race is on, and if you are eating your food in such a hurry and in such franticness, you develop this trouble which is very dangerous, called as blood cancer, and among young people is very common. Now, the last and not the least is the trouble of the heart. When you pay too much attention to all these outward things, to material things, to your all material advancement, to your physical advancement, and to so much of computerization of your brain, then you neglect the necessary attention to your spirit which resides in your heart. And so the spirit recedes. And when the spirit receives, you get a heart attack. Only a person who is right-sided gets a heart attack, and never a person who is a left-sided. I told this to a doctor, and he told surprisingly that in a mental hospital, we never need a cardiogram. We do not need it. They never get a heart attack. A madman never gets a heart attack. Surprisingly, a person who is mad is using his heart, his left side, his emotions, and his heart should go out, but no, his brain goes out. Can you imagine? And the one who uses the brain, his heart goes out. This is the balance created by nature in us. See how cleverly the nature is trying to guide us in the center. Don't go to the extremes, keep to the center, and then when you are absolutely in the center, then you get your evolution very quickly. So this is the right side that we have, the futuristic side, and as you know, we are all very futuristic by temperament. This futuristicness cannot be cured by telling, oh, now don't think. You cannot do it. You just cannot do it. If I order you that now you better stop planning, you just can't do it. You can't help it. You have to do that kind of plan. And you find all these plans fail because these plans are not related to the plans of the divine. Divine has some other plans, while you have some other plans. And they never combine together, and that's how you find all your plans fail, and you are just frustrated, left high and dry. You don't understand how it has happened. For your understanding, one has to know that there is a divine power. You may like it or not. All this living work that is done, millions and millions of flowers which are becoming fruits, a seed becoming a tree, a particular seed becomes a particular tree, all the choices that are made, the whole organized way, the chemical acts, the way the chemistry is made of periodic laws, everything you see in this world is all so well organized, there has to be somebody doing it. So there is a divine power which is surrounding us, no doubt about it. But we have not yet felt it. That's all. If you have not felt it, that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It does exist. And it works out. We have seen with our own experience that so many living things are happening, we just take it for granted. We are not bothered. See, in human life itself, a child is to be born. Then a fetus is held in the body. Normally, the law of medical science is this, that anything foreign, if it enters into the body, is thrown out immediately. All the forces are built up to throw it out. But what we find, that when a fetus is built up, the whole system works out to nourish it, to look after it, to bother about it. Very carefully, the water is created around it so that it is not disturbed, and every sort of a care is taken by the body to look after the fetus, and when the fetus is ready, it is thrown out. Who does that? Who does that? We must ask these questions to ourselves sometimes. After all, why have we become human beings? What was the need? What was the need? And if we haven't got the answer, that means we are still in transition, and we have to get there where we get the answer. We are made human beings to feel that divine power, to maneuver that divine power, and thus enjoy the bliss of divinity. That divine power is the collective thing. That gives us collective. The spirit in our heart is the one which is the collective being within us, which manifests that divine power to flow through us. And that's how, once we are connected to the mains, we start becoming what we are for. Like a machine, once it is put to the mains, it gets its meaning. But this machine, though it is put to the mains, is not aware of the electricity, about my voice, anything. But a human being, when he gets connected with the mains, when he becomes aware, and this is what you must see. When you get realized, you can raise the Kundalini of others. You can give realization to others. Ray himself has done so many. Even in Riyadh he did it. He did it everywhere, wherever he went. He's just like you. He's an engineer. He's just like you. He was just like you. And now you'll be amazed at how much he knows about himself and about others. And a complete change has come, because once you get the spirit, when you get the highest, all these mundane things drop off and you become a master of yourself. No more enslavement of any habits or anything. It just works out beautifully. But one must give a chance to oneself, and one must have patience. The worst part of intelligence, so-called, is that you can make fun of it. That's the easiest way to make fun of everything and get rid of it. In olden times, when they wanted to face the reality, like when Christ came in, they didn't make fun of him, but they did at the time when he was crucified, but they just denied. But now it is not basically a problem. That problem doesn't exist, because to deny it requires more effort, so it's better to make fun. It's stupidity again, as I say. It's stupidity to make fun of something, because you are that. You are the spirit. You are the one who has to get it. And if you just know how to make fun, please go and play about with it. All your life will go on, all your lives will go on. What's the use? And if you do not get a realization, in the words of your judgment, you have failed. You have failed, and there is a chance given to you. You can be comforted, and you can be counseled, you can be redeemed, but nobody can make you taste the beauty of your own being. That you have to do it yourself.